welcome to another video. It's about 6:30 in the morning, keen this morning. I'm on familiar territory, which you'll recognise, along the Grantham Canal. Some might think you might get bored of riding along the canal. I'll probably use it more than anywhere else to get out into or to Vale of Beaver. But I never really get bored of it. Sometimes get a little bit bored of all the people if it's later on in the day, but early morning, evening, it's a lovely place to be. This morning is quite quiet, not much wind. I'm going to tell you a little story. I had a disaster last week. I'm going to share it with you. I've seen that heron a few times around this area. Must be a local resident. So as you can see, it's a lovely still morning. Get all those reflections off the water. Something about being alongside water, isn't there? It's never a bad place to be, unless there's a storm and wind. So as you can see, I'm on the old mineral railway that used to go from Beaver out towards Musson. And it was along here I was coming just over a week ago. Sunday morning, it's quite early, about 8 o'clock time. A couple of fishermen, a couple of joggers, didn't really see anybody else. My intention was to ride out into the Vale of Beaver. And I'd look down about here, my camera was there. I rode on a little bit further, got to the end of this mineral railway, went off on the road, then went down a track, which is across the field, the bridleway. It's quite bumpy over there. Then I popped back out again onto the canal. Rode a little bit further, came across some swans sitting on a nest. I thought, oh yeah, I'll film that. Went to get the camera. Shock horror, it's not there. So this is where it lives normally, in that little bag. Thinking all the time I've been filming now, which is like a year, a bit over, it's fallen out once over a huge bump, and I see it go flying. Obviously I stopped. Anyway, it had gone, which threw me into a bit of a panic, because it was somewhere in a 4-mile distance off-road, including the field. Tricky. So turn around, followed my tracks back, come all the way back to just here, which is where there's a new lock. Let me show you that. So this is a lock just behind me that has been built, I think it's probably about 2 years now, maybe even 3. There was some lottery funding and they've been restoring it, and it's done a fabulous job. Look at this. So up in the distance, right up there, is the local pub, well known, the Dirty Duck. It's one of the easiest places to get out onto the canal for families, and obviously you can stop at the pub, so it's pretty good. But this is Woolsthorpe Middle Lock. And up there in the distance you can see Beaver Castle. So on a still morning like this, it's a lovely place to be. So last week I came up here to have a look. We've more or less finished the building work now, which has been taking place here, the restoration work. So you can see now we've got trees planted, but I thought I'd come up and have a look close up at the lock, being as I've not been here. properly since it's been restored fully and refilled. So I rode back to here in a search for my camera, thinking I wonder if I dropped it just here, because I stayed here, I didn't do any filming, I sat on here. Could it be here? Don't know. So I'd ridden all the way back from 4 miles down the road, down the track to here, so didn't see it. Thought, I'd best go back again then. So back I went along the way I came, which was actually down this track here, and where the bridge is in the distance, there was a fisherman there. Said good morning to him. Upon reflection, I should have asked him if he'd seen the camera, but I didn't. So I rode back the other way for another 4 miles. As you can imagine, GoPros are not cheap. I was starting to get a little bit anxious, not going to find it. So although it was early, still before 9 o'clock, there weren't too many people about. Obviously, if the day goes on, more and more people will start to use the canal. So back I went, back to where I came. So basically I went back and forth 3 times. No, couldn't see it anywhere. There's no particularly big bumps or anything that I remember going over or that I saw, so who knows. I was pretty fed up, certainly was pretty grumpy. So in disgust and annoyance with myself, I went home. Spent the rest of the day banging and crashing around. So I rode through this bridge, and just around down here there was a fisherman. So I saw him like 3 times, going this way, coming back, going back again. So when you ride along the Grantham Canal, you see loads of volunteers from Grantham Canal Society. Spoke to a couple of those, mentioned I'd lost my camera, went home. So that evening I thought I'll email the Grantham Canal Society off their website and just see if anybody does happen to come across the camera. Hopefully maybe they'll let me know. What are the chances of that? Not much, not much. Part of it was along the canal track, part of it was off-road through the field. What are the chances? So that evening Grantham Canal Society very kindly put a tweet out on Twitter saying someone had lost a GoPro, some idiot had lost a GoPro. And guess what? The fisherman, who I think was the fisherman who I passed several times, commented on the tweet and said that a jogger had found a camera and had said to the fisherman he was going to drop it off back at the Dirty Duck, which I pointed out earlier. Amazing. Couldn't believe it. How about that? So Monday morning, as you might guess, I was straight on to the Dirty Duck, dropped him a message, 7:30 in the morning. Have you by any chance got my camera? Then I started to think to myself, hang on a minute, it was really early when I lost it. I wonder what time the jogger picked it up. What if he went back to the Dirty Duck, let's say he found it 8:30, bit after I dropped it, was going to drop it off at the Dirty Duck on his early morning run. Would there be anybody there? What if there was nobody there? What if he couldn't leave it? What would happen? What would he do with it? But I need to worried, because I got a message back from the very helpful guys at the Dirty Duck to say that they were keeping my camera safe. They closed on Mondays, open at 11 on Tuesday. Happy for me to go and collect it. What a result. Man, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. The previous evening I was totally convinced it was gone forever. I'd have to buy another one. And as you probably know, I ain't the cheapest things in the world. What's the chance of somebody honest in this day and age picking it up? Well, pretty good it seemed. So thank you very much, Grantham Canal Society, for actually taking the trouble to help and put out a tweet. Thank you for the fisherman, Mark, his name was Mark Poyser, and thank you to him for putting on the notification. And naturally, thank you to mystery jogger, who I don't know who it is, who picked up the camera and dropped it off somewhere, but I might be able to pick it up. So what a result. So I think I'm going to have a slight modification to my camera holding equipment. I've got a little bit of a plan involving magnets. I can see a future video coming up. So as you can see, that's the Dirty Duck. So you can see why it's popular. Very popular place locally. It's a lovely place to stop. Obviously they've made a lot of outdoor space for the current situation. Reopened a few weeks ago. Just beyond the main buildings, behind it, there's actually a place you can come with caravans, car park and caravan site there. So you get a lot of walkers, cyclists, ramblers, runners, joggers, whatever, that will come along the canal and stay, go to the Dirty Duck, have a shandy. It's not a bad thing to do, is it? Just on the bridge by it, just here, we've got two locks which were restored quite a few years ago now, and the original lockkeeper's cottage down there. So as you can see, it's nice and still this morning. There's certainly far worse places to be, just after 7 in the morning. So Grantham Canal Society are raising an appeal at the moment. They're needing to buy a van to help them move stuff around, and they're so busy. They've got such a lot of volunteers, and every weekend you see them. They're litter picking, they're renovating, they're tidying, they're weeding, keeping the trees cut back, keeping everything nice and tidy. And it's a great organisation. They're gradually raising money, and the aim is to make more of the canal back to being filled with water as it should be. Between Grantham and Nottingham, it's a huge job which will take a long while to actually ever dream of completing, but it would be great if we could get it navigable again. So we're trying to raise money for a van, so I'm going to make a contribution. I'm going to drop a link below, and I'd encourage you, I'm sure you've got similar organisations, if you're by any canals, help them out a bit. But definitely Grantham Canal Society, thank you very much. I'm very glad to have got my camera back with their help. So this bridge here along the canal, this is my favourite bridge. I've often stopped here. I just like the general look of it. It's a lovely area to be in. It's always kind of peaceful here. It's just a really nice place to often stop. And I often stop and I'll sit on the wall just here. Park up there, it's a nice little wall to sit on. But today I thought I'd sit on this bench, which has been here for a while. And I've seen people sitting on it, but I've never actually sat on it. And I've just realised, just found, it is Bill's bench. My dad was called Bill, so naturally made me think of my dad. So I can sit here by Bridge 63. I was born in 1963. At Bridle Bridge, my favourite bridge, sitting on Bill's bench and mull over my dad. He was a fisherman, he'd love it here. Well, he used to come here all the time. Funny that, isn't it? So, as you can see, it's a very nice place to come and ride your bike, especially early in the morning when everything's waking up. and now we've got these light mornings. It's just a great way to start your day. So I'm still working from home. I can be up early as I was this morning, out on a bike for 6:30. I can have an hour and a half on the bike, get home for 8 o'clock, nice leisurely breakfast, start work at 9. Perfect way to start the day. So once again, thank you Grantham Canal Society, Tony Jackson in particular, for sending out the tweet, emailing me, keeping in contact, make sure I got it back, and all the society members for the great work that they do. I'll drop a link below to their website, have a look, and if you can chuck a couple of quid in to help them buy a van, to help them with the work, please do. So I'll see you again in a few days time. Thanks again as always for watching, and if you're not subscribed, please consider it really helps me out, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.